Nothing's more real than what's absent, crushed by the weight of what's gone. The space after everything's swept down, only the shadows dance on. Pedal tones groan, echo across the empty town square. Window cracked, a little cognac, laughter in the night air.
Pedal tones was a real magical moment in the studio. That song was written actually, I think, just a few weeks before we went in to make the record, and we were still kind of fine-tuning the form, even right up until we cut it. And I remember Ahron said, oh, I got it. Let's start this one just drums and clav, and then we were off. This one, we have Aaron Comas on drums, incredible drumming, and Richard Hammond, seriously grooving bass playing, two of my favorite musicians that I've been playing with in New York for over 10 years, but I was really happy to have a chance to record with them for the first time on this album. One of the themes on this album is traveling a lot. This tune was partly inspired by some of my touring in Europe, including a tour I did 24 nights in the Czech Republic and Slovakia, and visiting some of these old tiny towns and some old town squares, which might just have one church and some statues, a few cafes, and that's it. A little cognac, laughter in the night air. Window crack, a little cognac, laughter in the night air. One of my favorite things to do when I get a day off on the road is head to the art museum. 520 was inspired by a Monet painting, one of my favorites, the Musée d'Orsay, a painting of a train crossing a railroad bridge, Argentor. I'm looking at this painting and I'm hearing Robert Johnson, I'm hearing Hank Williams, these classic American train songs. How the theme of trains and traveling has figured into so much of American music. Really spending a lot of time in front of this one painting, a little story started to present itself. Tiny painted clouds, ripples on the river. I get a lot of inspiration from country blues. Guys like Mississippi Fred McDowell, Son House, Skip James. This song, Blues for Dave, is one I wrote with my wife Kate, and it was inspired by something her late stepfather said as he was nearing the end of his life. He said, looking back on my life and the things I've done, he said, I haven't done anything to make me scared to die. And we said, that sounds like a blues in the making. Ain't done nothing. Give me a reason to be afraid to die. The version of Blues for Dave that you hear on the album was actually a rehearsal take which Craig, as the engineer, had the good fortune to record, and it was a really nice moment captured there in the studio.
In my time, it won't be long.
One of the nice things on this record was to record with some of my favorite New York musicians, guys I've been playing with for over 10 years, but hadn't recorded with before, like Ahron and Tony Mason, two of my favorite drummers, and some of my favorite bass players, Richard Hammond, Andy Hess, and of course Matt Clohesy.
In the rosy light of dawn, served in Korea back in 52.
It's been super fun doing some more writing with Ellis Hooks. There are 3 songs on this album that we wrote together: Knuckles and Bones, the title track Bitter Midnight, and also Just Before the Storm is a tune Ellis and I wrote with Craig.
I got trouble in my life, been there since the day I was born.
When we get together to write, there's such a natural groove happening. Ellis is such an incredible singer and an incredible performer with so much energy on stage. I think we really play off each other and feed off each other. My good friend who's been a part of the band from the beginning, Jay Collins, did some really nice horn arrangements for the record. And it was also a treat to record with some of my favorite horn players on this record, who I played with in Lee Von Helm's band: Jay Collins on baritone sax and Stephen Bernstein on trumpet, with Craig playing tenor.
She took it and she just ran away. Midtime, I gave her my heart. She took it and she just ran away. I'm a sad kid.
This guitar was made for me by Rick McCurdy, New York City luthier, who've been working on my guitars for a long time, since 2000, I think. And one day he called me up, he said, "Chris, I think I have a guitar for you. I just made this telly. I want you to check it out. I want you to borrow it and just, see what you think." He told me later he basically knew he was never going to get it back.
And a summer dream before the sky clouded over, weren't very far.
This song was inspired by when I was living in Brooklyn some years ago, going for a little run, looking up and seeing the door open of the South Brooklyn Casket Company, and being kind of a jarring image. There I was, running along and running right past these bright green caskets, kind of made me take a look around. All right, glad to be on this side of things, This is one that has really evolved in the intervening 12 years, and including adding a new harmony vocal part by Jay Collins. This one also really features some really tasty organ playing and a great organ solo from Craig. It made me really happy to hear this tune when we finished the mix of it, because I think you really hear the evolution of this band with that song, as well as kind of how a song evolves over time.
See the caskets gleaming green, back on the enemy. Think I'll choose to stay here another day.
Explode or Contain, one I wrote with one of my biggest collaborators, my wife Kate, wrote the bulk of the lyrics for this one. And it touches on the theme of how you perceive your surroundings and how you perceive reality, and also a little bit of the current political situation. I gotta tip my hat to Craig Dreyer, who co-produced this record with me and really did an amazing job, recording it to tape, mixed it, mastered it at Mighty Toad Studio in Brooklyn. And of course he played, organ, Wurlitzer, Rhodes, tenor sax, saying backing vocals on Small Trouble. He wore many hats. He's fond of wearing hats. And we had a great time working on this record together. This one, I feel like you really hear the sound of a working band with Craig on Wurlitzer and organ, Matt Clohesy on bass, who I've been playing with since 2007 now, and Tony Mason on drums. This one features some really explosive drumming from Tony.
Discover the truth, know what is meant. Moment to moment, landscape shifts. The tightrope walk, touching blown snow drifts.